Cyclone Idai swept through southeast Africa, bringing the worst flooding the area has seen in the past 20 years. The most affected areas in Mozambique, Buzi, Guro, Dombe, and Hamatanda, have been hard to reach as the roads are still being blocked, with many evacuation shelters lacking food. Tzu Chi volunteers brave the conditions to get to those in need. The heavy rain led the Buzi River to burst, the flooding ruining crops. At a local school in Hamatanda, the rooftops were blown off.
Esse copo para esta sala vem quantos? Quantos copos?
Copo de feijão.
Copo de feijão. Para almoço ou jantar?
Almoço, não tem jantar, se almoço só.
Okay.
Tzu Chi's post-disaster aid distribution started on May 30th. It first began in Dombe and Mushai. The village chief said this was the first time foreign aid was received after the disaster. The following day, a second distribution was held at Dondo, which is near Beira. Supplies were sent from the capital, Maputo, and the truck arrived after 29 hours of journey and a punctured tire. The aid materials distributed today not only included rice, but other food, as well as hygiene products.
We have nothing left. Our house and children's books are all gone. We have nothing to eat. These goods will fill my stomach and that of my children. We will temporarily stay here, but we don't know about the future. Thank you for helping us. Thank you.
In the immediate 2 weeks after the cyclone hit, the affected residents have relied on bean curd soup to fill their stomachs. Now, with Tzu Chi's assistance, each plastic bucket is filled with all the food and daily necessities for each household. Tzu Chi volunteers went to Hamatanda village on April 7th to deliver aid supplies to around 1,000 families. The elderly, the weak, and children receive preferred priority.
We use this to make sure if they are the elderly or pregnant women, they need this ticket in order to get in and receive the goods.
They are enough to last 1 month for the 3 of us.
The following day, on April 8th, another 874 aid packages has been distributed in the Chica village. Local health authorities also bring oral cholera vaccine. Without enough water purification tablets to go around, Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa procured 10,000 tablets in 1 day to send to the 3 East African countries.
我们在这里已经等了2个多小时了。那现在因为道路有塌方，那工程车还是在修理。
Cyclone Idai also affected Zimbabwe with the same heavy hand. Originally, volunteers wanted to walk the 20 kilometers to the emergency shelter. Fortunately, they met a local resident who guided them, enabling them to take a car to the destination. On the way, volunteers also saw the affected residents washing clothes with puddles of water. Worried about water safety, they have provided purification tablets for them to use. Besides assessing damages in the disaster areas, Tzu Chi volunteers have initiated donation campaigns to help.
So many, how many? 80, 90, 100?
More than 100.
Though she may have forgotten her age, the senior does not forget to help others. At her house, one can tell her fortune is not measured by money.
I was deeply touched when I saw other people making donations. I'm joyful that I can also help out.
Tzu Chi has been providing help in Domboshawa for 6 years. In the aftermath of the floods, the residents take the initiative to donate their supplies. 78-year-old Agnes is donating about 26 US cents. Since she lives by herself and does not work, this amount is nearly all of the money she has.
Besides donating money, I've also brought some clothes. After watching the news this morning, I've been really worried about my fellow countrymen who have been devastated by Cyclone Idai. I even cried.
This 3-year-old girl has taken out about 5 US cents to donate. Her mother, Dokis, who suffers from eye problems, cannot work. Dokes takes care of her 2 children on her own and usually relies on the lunches provided by Tzu Chi's free kitchen.
Okay. Saka mova mati mwana ndiyafanira kuendesa nditi.
In just an hour's time, the amount of donations collected is limited, but these people have shown that giving is not the privilege of the rich. 2 weeks later, the Zimbabwe Tzu Chi volunteers went into the disaster area once again with materials. On the way, the truck gets stuck in some rocks on the road, and it took more than an hour to get out. After a long trip, Zimbabwe Tzu Chi disaster relief team has finally arrived in the disaster area, Chimani-Mani.
Man, we have around more than 200 people. More than 200 people are homeless. And these people no longer have blankets, no longer have clothes. So this donation will go a long way in actually assisting these people.
While the volunteers originally planned to distribute aid relief to 400 households from 3 shelters, when they arrived, they discovered it was not enough. The 400 sets of aid supplies included both food and daily necessities. In addition, the volunteers also prepare some extra supplies, including okara, blankets, and jingsi multi-purpose folding beds. In the end, these will all be given to the people in the direst need.
We can distribute food to every resident. However, in terms of daily supplies, such as the folding beds, we have selected 17 people who are physically challenged or have mobility issues. We'll give them to these 17 people, regardless of which shelter they came from.
Among the volunteers on Tzu Chi's disaster relief team is a local volunteer, Jean. She grew up in Chimani-Mani. Cyclone Idai took away 4 of her family members. In the aftermath of her loss, she threw herself into Tzu Chi's disaster relief work.